Hey, 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 it is August 9th, right here, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast. I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps. Oh, where's the icon? There it is. Dun, 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 dun. Where we as a collective of martial arts school owners, small business owners, try to figure out this thing called life, right? We want to be profitable. We want to scale and monetize it so we can fulfill our version of success, take care of our family, our team, save for retirement, create some passive income and do all kinds of cool things like that. But in order to do that, we need a skill set. And I think that's really the biggest thing about owning a small business. There is no blueprint. You can study books, you can take courses, but everybody has their own unique way of how they want to run a business. But there's some good fundamental core basics that we should all gravitate towards to give ourselves a better chance of that success. I think the number's pretty astronomical. 8 out of 10 small businesses fail, some number like that. And so I want to best position my business to be successful. And that requires a skill set, my constant learning, my dedication to learning as the terrain changes, as social media changes, as marketing changes, as even HR, right? We have a different employee today than we did 20 years ago. Such as we don't say employee, we say team member. Such as, right? We work for a work-life balance, on and on and on. The point I'm trying to make with that is that if you are in a small business, you're in the right place. Right here at Success Never Sleeps. So let's start by thanking our sponsors as always. Love my sponsors. Tusa, who supplied all the uniforms and equipment to the Olympic team in Paris, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Market Muscles. I just got back from Las Vegas, and Stephen and Reinstein, the CEO and founder of Market Muscles, and I stood shoulder to shoulder on stage and fundamentally educated the dance studio industry. And that was really unique because they're much like us in the martial arts industry. They're kid centric. They're glad summer's over, right? And it's back to school's here, and it's one of the best times of year for enrolling new students, which would lead me to encourage you to double down on your marketing in every shape, way, and form. You have this momentum, right? So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Google ads, parents' night out, kindergarten meet and greets, we have an open house this Saturday where we're bringing the cotton candy machine at another elementary school. We're doing a big demo at the Art and Wine Festival. We have a black belt test this month. We have reactivating all the members that are on hold with makeup stripe workshops and testing. We miss you postcards. There's just so many things that go into not only being successful, but staying successful. And when I speak to school owners and they're no longer doing a lot of these things, I ask, well, what did you do to become successful? I did ABC. Are you still doing ABC? Well, no. Why? I don't know. I just got bored. If something works, then double down on it. You're always reinventing it, right? But double down on it. Also, want to thank my studio. They just moved everything over to Stripe, so we're watching that. Want to make sure all the money gets from WePay and gets into Stripe, so we're paying close attention to that and monitoring that. I think moving to Stripe is a brilliant move. So if you don't have my studio, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. Kids love life skills. We're on the freaking last mile of this marathon to change it over to the new platform where it's going to be subscription based, and that way you'll have access to all of the support materials for all 40 something badges, and we have a new ones in the pipe. I'm working on the heart support materials right now. That's almost done. But imagine for one small subscription, you'll have access to all these coloring sheets, the student parent discovery handout, the live talk, the instructor handout, and weekly calls with us to better your business. So I'm very excited about that. But again, all good things come to those who wait. I've been patient. We've worked hard on it, and we're grateful. LC Accounting, my sister Letitia, she's the glue that keeps me on budget, on track. She works with many school owners throughout the industry. I encourage you to, if you're looking for a bookkeeping service, look her up. Look her up. Look her up. What's coming up? It's Time Life Purpose, November 9th through 12th, right here in Millbrae, California, 5 minutes from SFO. Me, Dave Kovar, Sam On, Adam Lodi, and a soon-to-be revealed female speaker to round things off. We'll be offering you 4 days of intensive training, personal transformation, business, wealth building, all the different things that go into running a balanced, successful small business. Only 20 spots for the 4 day. They're starting to fill up. Mark will go ahead and put the link in there. Get signed up, make the best investment, which is in yourself, and spend 4 days with us. You want to stay 1 or 2 days? Sometimes team members will fly out for that, and the owner will stay the full 4 days. I highly recommend it. It is the number one martial arts growth event in our industry, and there's nothing like it. Cool. So, what are we talking about today? You know, today is a very special subject, and I think it's one that we don't really address. But I chose to address it because I'm always hearing at least several times throughout the year about a team member, right, instructor leaving the school they're teaching at and opening up their own school. And normally it's within a 1 mile radius, and they take half the students, and everything becomes unstable and things go into disarray. So I really want you to just think about that thought for a moment. Have you been a victim of that? Have you been the perpetrator? Hmm. And while you do that, anybody coming aboard, say hello. Say hello. Put your name in the comments. We love to know who's here hanging out with us at Success Never Sleeps. If you get the opportunity, share this to any group live right now. There's something magical. I have school owners tell me all the time, I've been following you at Success Never Sleeps for years and years and years. And I don't mind that because I know it's convenient to watch the show at your own time. But when you're here hanging out with us, I think that's really, really, really cool. Something special about that. So as you do come aboard, say hello and put in the name of your school and where you're tuning in from. So think about that question for a moment. Have you ever been in a situation where the instructor has left and opened up down the school, took some of the students, right? The whole 9 yards. It happens in big associations, it happens in affiliates, it happens in mom and pop martial arts schools. It happens all the time. So, if you ever been part of that where an instructor has left and opened up and taken your students, put it in the comments. And I want to say that as a sense of ownership and a sense of acknowledgement, a sense of accountability. Hey, Beth, what's happening? Black Dragon, Tennessee, Tennessee. Beth, I'm going to say publicly, I'm uber, uber proud of you. You know, Beth is in our group mentoring program, and Beth and Marty are making some amazing changes. I think their openness to wanting to just be better and do better is powerful, and they've made so many strides. I mean, I'm just tickled pink. And Beth will be coming out to It's Time Life Purpose in November. Her and her son, and I'm super super excited for that, to spend some time. 4 days with Beth. Oh man, that's going to be pretty cool, right? That's going to be pretty cool. So I know I'm kind of lingering on this before I hop into it hard. Have you ever had an instructor leave your school and open up down the street and take students? Have you ever been in that position, right? All right. So with that said, I'm going to tell you what that means for me. Sometimes it's just they need to grow, right? I get that. You need to grow. You need to go do your own thing. You want to be a business owner. Happy day. What I do believe along the way, I could have been more in control of conducting a process to get that person to open up a school with me. That I could have done. If I have it already built into my business where you start out as a student, then you become a junior leader, you become a junior assistant, you become assistant instructor, you can become an instructor, you could become an operating partner, and we can go into business together and open up a school. All that should be in place. And if it's not, then I would encourage you at least do an outline of it, make it public, make it known in your school. So that way, if that seed gets planted and somebody's thinking about leaving and opening, oh, there we are. We're back. There's a supported pathway to help them achieve that goal, right? They say if you want to go fast, do it alone. If you want to go far, do it as a team. So that type of mindset from day one, you should be planting with your team. Now, I'm victim of that too. I had a guy was with me for, I don't know, 10, 15 years at the first location. Then they decided they wanted to be a chef, rock and roll. So they left us, went to culinary school. And after they went to culinary school, they went to work in a restaurant and they opened up a martial arts school as side by side while they were working in the restaurant. Now, it was in a whole nother city. It didn't impact us at all. But a handful of students did look them up after the fact. That's okay. I mean, if we replace 50% of our student body every 2 years, I don't think it's a big deal, right? And their school's not even in existence now. So it had very little impact on what we did. But we do know it can be extremely disruptive to your school. It can be extremely impactful to your school. And it's not something I would advocate for. But again, when this happens in a school or we see it happen in another school, people don't look at that as an opportunity, a wonderful learning experience, right? So, number one, from day one, there should be talk and outline that if they ever want to become their own boss and open their own school, that you can help facilitate that better than they ever could on their own. Number one. So always have that there. Have that in place, talked about in an outline, in a document. That should be there. Whether it ever happens or not is not the point. The point is you give them that pathway if that's something they choose to do. Cool. Number two, and I think this is a big one, creating a company, creating a company that people want to work for. Now, I think this never comes to fruition in some martial arts mom and pop businesses, right? The majority of our industry is made up of mom and pop businesses, not franchises, right? We're one of the few industries where mom and pop businesses way outweigh franchises, right? Let's take the hamburger industry. How many mom and pop burger joints do you know compared to big franchises like In-N-Out Burger, Five Guys, Wahlburger, right? McDonald's, even Burger King. We can go on and on. We do know those franchises are much bigger and dominate that industry. But in the martial arts industry, that simply is not the case. So we never move from that mindset. We expect the kids to work for us. Some guy's going to stay with us forever. That's what we expect. My mindset is I want to create a company that people want to work for. Better yet, where they feel like they get to work with us. And what is that required? Well, for a moment, take out a piece of paper. And if you had to write down everything that you would want if you worked for a company, what would some of those things be? Put them in the chat. Put them in the chat. And again, as you come on aboard, say hello. Tell me you're here. You're hanging out. I love when people are live with us. But we're at YouTube. We're at all the podcast platforms. And I'm grateful for all the people that choose to watch us after the fact. So, what are some of the things you'd want from a great company if you worked for them? Put it in the comment. I know it runs a little slower at StreamYard, but that's okay. So number one for me, and believe me, pay is up there. Number one, it would be a company that I believe in. I'm very passionate about that. I don't want paycheck players. I don't simply want somebody working with us because they're being paid. It's real important to me that we cultivate team members that believe in what we do. Now, in order for that to happen, I need to have a purpose. I need to have a why. And what is mine? Live your best life, right? Live your best life. Our whole purpose statement that sits up on the walls in both schools says we are one, a community dedicated to serving you in every moment to live your best life. And the short version of that is live your best life. And this purpose statement sits right at the top of our hiring documents. So it asks them that question, what does this mean to you? And if it fits your philosophy, it's something you believe in, then Keep reading on. I need people that believe in what we do. And during the pandemic, that really came to light. We had people jumping ship, right? You had the great resignation during the pandemic, the great resignation. And the core people that stayed with me, I gave incredible raises to during the pandemic. I took care of them in such a unique way because my vision was as we came out of this freaking thing, I wanted to have the strongest team hitting the ground running. Make sense? But also because they believe in what we do, their loyalty is unequaled, unequaled. And that's something I want to lean heavily into. So, again, creating a purpose driven company that people not only spend money on, but people believe in is really, really your first and number one goal. So, what is your why? Why do I? We're back again. I don't know what's going on there, Marco. Stay with that. What's up, Jason? From so again, giving people something to believe in, right? That's important. I know culturally we had 1,000 students. We lost 250 overnight during the pandemic. But can you believe we had 750 people training virtually online? We had 750 people follow us into parking lots and farmers markets, until we were able to get back into the schools. That's important. And when you read the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, he is a Stanford business professor. And he studied companies 100 years old, companies that had been around for a decade, at that time, Facebook, companies like that. And he found out because they were purpose driven, they were able to sustain and weather things like 9/11, the pandemic, the mortgage crisis, recessions. They find a way because people believe in them. They'll take a cut and pay if necessary, right? They'll do all these different things because they believe in that company. And it's the same thing here. You need to get people to believe in you because in that belief, in the culture of your business, guess what? There is a sense of loyalty. Now, stay with me. Believing that is genuine, believing that is can be sustained in growth, and it's something that promotes loyalty is a lot different than a cult, a lot different than brainwashing people. And I've seen that too. And when I was in Vegas, I met with a couple of people that was loyal to the point of fault. And they're now opening up their own school. They've left their instructor, and there was nothing nice to say. Nothing nice. They even used the word cult. And to me, that's not a good day. So it's important to me that when we talk about creating a purpose statement, creating a why, that the why is to serve the genuine community that you're trying to cultivate. You with me? Never should it be based upon your ego or any of that craziness. All right. I just had to run on that tangent for a minute. So, number one, they believe in what you do. Now, the nuts and bolts are pretty simple. You need to have competitive pay. Write it down. I need competitive pay. Because no matter how much I believe in you, I remember we're here in a very expensive state, California, expensive communities like San Francisco and Millbrae. If I cannot afford to work for you by default, I must leave. I must leave. That's it. That's all that is. That's it, folks, long and short. And then you're, scratching your head baffled as to why this person is leaving you. So we are conditioned to believe, right? Here we go. In the martial arts industry, that when I get to 100 students, I'll pay you this much. When I get to 150 students, then I'll pay you this much. When I get to 200 students, I'll pay you this much. And when I get to 300, I'll pay you this much. I think it needs to be the other way around. If you have a really rock star instructor that you never want to leave your organization, pay them well. And I'm not talking about, well, this is what a kindergarten teacher makes, or this is what a personal trainer makes. No, I want you to rethink that and really think about the value that they bring to your company. Okay. Now, in the restaurant industry, payroll's about 33%. 33%. Wow, that's a lot, right? Now, If you're an owner operator and you're doing all the work, so be it, right? Your payroll is going to be a lot lower because you're paying it all to yourself. But for us, we fluctuate about summertime, it's higher because of all the additional summer day camp staff, but we're around 33 to 35%. I have no challenge with that. Why? I work 1 day a week in the business. On Thursdays, I teach 1 day a week. That's it. And I have the freedom to spend time with my family, to nurture my other companies and revenue streams. So that makes perfect sense for me. And in the process, we're cultivating a succession plan at 62 years old, where these guys will eventually take over and this will be their business. I'll have a revenue stream well into my old age, right? But the percentages will change as time goes by. You with me? It'll change as time goes by. So I remember I was teaching about 60 hours a week. I had no staff yet, no team whatsoever, no bench strength, nothing. And I was burning out. So one of the moms who was looking to change careers at the time, 50,000 was a lot of money. I took a credit card and I said to her, I will guarantee your salary for a year, because I know with you doing front desk, doing payroll, doing scheduling, doing hiring and firing for me, and doing all those different things, that I can teach better and not get burnt out. And within a year, we increased our revenue by about $200,000. So that's vision. I took a credit card and guaranteed her salary because I wasn't generating the revenue to be able to cover her salary. But I took this credit card with a line of credit and I guaranteed her salary for the year. And people thought I was nuts because she was making more money than I was at that time. My discipline was I paid myself $3,000 a month. I don't care if I had to miss meals, eat top ramen, sleep at the school. That's what I paid myself. Okay. But within a year, I went from making 3,000 a month to I took home 160 that year instead of 36. So you with me on that? So stop it right now. If you've got that rock star instructor, do not dangle the carrot that when we get to 200, I'll pay you this. When we get to 250, you know why? Because that's not guaranteed. You can't put a timestamp. Well, we're going to be at 250 students in 6 months, and we're going to be at 300 students, in a year. You can't guarantee that. But what you can guarantee is taking a loan out, taking something out. Because why? My team is my best investment. Without a doubt, my team is the best investment because we are a service driven, people driven business. So pay them well, pay them more than anybody possibly can for wearing pajamas and impacting lives. Okay? So we covered pay. Next one is, of course, like any great company, you should have some type of retirement plan, a 401k at least, something in place. Because in a way, that's free money. We do 3% match, of their salary. It's a great program. And again, like any great company, having some type of retirement, or in this case, in the form of a 401k, is powerful because it is free money. Number three, big one for us, is a medical siphon. My salary people have a medical siphon. We're not required by the government to have a built in medical insurance plan. We are not. We don't have enough employees that are working salary to do that. So, between the two locations, I make sure that this certain amount of money, part of their salary, is called a medical allowance, which fundamentally pays for them to buy their own insurance. That's it. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. So you need that as well. So let's cover that. Competitive pay, 401k. Okay. Another one, of course, is vacation with pay. I think that's super important. Vacation with pay is real important because the average person cannot take off time from work and lose that money. I want my team to go on vacation. I want them to have that downtime to rejuvenate, re energize, and come back better. I want that to happen. Okay. So we have vacation with pay. Are you following me on this? Because if you look at a great company like Apple or Nike or, anyone, those are just standard. There's medical, there's vacation, there's retirement. Those are the things we want to advocate for. And I would say they are a must. They are a must. Lots to think about. So, give me in your comments. What are some of your thoughts? What are some of your is this eye-opening? Is this revealing to you? Are you going like, wow, really? Really? Would you take out a loan to secure an instructor for the next 2 to 3 years? Right? Would you be willing to take a line of equity off your home to do that? Or deal with the fallout of an instructor leaving you and taking half your students and opening up down the street? And then you have to start literally, in some ways, all over again. Call it damage control, call it what you will, but I love my team. I'm not afraid that they're going to leave. I believe I'm constantly investing in ways to help them believe why this is the best company to work for. I'll use another example. I had read in my research the average McDonald's, okay, grosses about $2 million dollars a year. Wow. Right? For an average McDonald's, grosses about $2 million dollars a year. Stay with me on this. The profit the owner makes off that one location is $150,000. That's not a lot. That's not a lot at all because you're paying franchise fees, marketing, systems, dates, payroll, you know, buns, hamburgers, everything. That's all coming through McDonald's, right? All that's coming through McDonald's. So when the day's done, but they have a proven business model and a lot of people like to buy franchises. But you pay for a franchise. You pay for that. So, yes, my payroll is higher, but my profit is also much higher in this situation. I think the big thing is out of our fear, we tend to want to hoard all the money for ourselves. And like I said in the beginning, right? You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go farther, go as a team. It's the same thing here. I know I will make more money over time with this team. We were able to confidently go from $1 million a year in one location to opening a second location and scaling that to $1 million within 3 years. So we doubled our revenue because I had the right people in place to execute. You with me? So that's what I'm saying. The value of the team. If you had to think about it right now, if you lost your key team members, what situation would that put you in? Go put it in the comments right now. If you lost your after school staff today, if you lost your two key instructors today, where would that put you? Put it in the comments. And for all the new people coming aboard, say hello. Tell me your name. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And while I wait for those comments, I'm just going to plug our It's Time group mentoring. We've been having so much fun. I spoke to one of our um, partners in our It's Time group mentoring the other day, and it was very enlightening, right? I have such a deep kinship for the small school owner. And when I see somebody struggling with 100 students, wanting just to grow to 200, and they're just stuck, because what we do in the It's Time group mentoring is not just writing systems, not just curriculum development, not just staff training, not just community-based marketing. It's personal transformation on a daily basis. It's keeping you accountable. It's keeping you on course. And again, the team with Jason, Marco, Monique, and myself, I love these people. I know they genuinely care about people, and they will do everything possible within their means to help the school owners that choose to work with us in It's Time group mentoring. Will help them to be successful. Cool? All right. Jason put it in. Let's see what Jason has to say. If Ashton left, I would be back in the school every day and would be missing my kids' activities. And that's number one for me. You know, I taught last night for the first time in 2 weeks. And then prior to that, I taught once in 2 weeks. I mean, it's been like that all summer, right? My kids have had basketball tournaments in Anaheim, Vegas, Reno. We've been to Vegas twice. They're just on and on, on and on. So I think I've worked literally in the schools in the past 3 months, maybe 4 or 5 days in the past 3 months. I normally take summers off, but I want to make sure I respect the team's time too, and I support in what small way that I can. And that's it. So, what is that worth to you, Jason? Think about that. What is that worth to you, right? It's priceless. Your kids will never be five again. They will never be seven again. You can't say, please do that dance recital over. Please do the softball game over, right? And this BS of send me a video, that's not the same. When our kids can look out into the audience and be able to see you sitting there or to see you in the stands applauding them, there is nothing like it. Nothing like it. Right. And at the end of the day, that's all we have. When they're off at college and they can reminisce about when you were present at their softball game or when you coached them, all those different things, yeah, right? It's priceless. It is priceless to be there in person. It is priceless. I mean, I can't express that enough, yet we somehow wear it like a badge of honor. We even romanticize the fact that we work hard for our families. I get it. I get it, right? We're hunters. We hunt for our family. We provide for our family. We protect our family. But you know what? If you're just a paycheck player and you're never there, then that's all you are. That's all you are is a paycheck. I remember one night during the challenges of my own personal life, I walked through the door and I said that to everybody. I said, you know what? I just feel like a paycheck in this house. And then I really stopped to think about it at the time. Um, it was my own damn fault. It's my own damn fault because that's the reality I created, right? That's the reality I created. So I'm going to challenge you on that right now. And if you aren't living the life you want with your family, make those adjustments right now because life is precious. Life is short. This could be any of ours last day. Right? You used to have to think you'd be old to die. That's not the case. Young people die. People die at 20, 30, 40. That's not the case. If this is my last day on earth, I want to know that I've spent quality time with my family. I want to know that I've taken great care of my team. I want to know that I'm sharing in this prosperity and not hoarding it and burning myself out by working all the classes, doing everything myself, right? Because I want to step over a dollar to pick up a penny. You with me? And I use that metaphor all the time. People are stepping over a dollar to pick up a penny. Don't do that to yourself. Please don't do that. And I'm really driving this home because I see it happen every day in our industry. Somebody is coming to me disgruntled. What do I do? This instructor quit and had to get another job. Well, you didn't take care of them. The instructor quit and went down the street and took half my students and opened their own school. You didn't create a company people want to work for. And the band played on. I mean, I can't express that enough in my own personal dealings. And at the time when my friend left, um, he went to culinary school, but then when he turned around and opened up a school, again, it was in a different city and everything. I felt hurt. There was a part of me that was hurt because we were supposed to do this thing together. But as I stopped pointing one finger at him and I looked at the other three that were pointed back at me, I started looking at the fundamental structure and path of my company and realizing, wow, I got a lot of holes in my game. Why, you know what? I wouldn't even want to work for me. At that time, I wouldn't want to work for me. It's so unstable, so uncertain, so unknown. There's no guarantee when I get my next raise. There's no path to getting my next raise. There's no way to, go from being a student to a junior leader, junior instructor, assistant instructor, instructor, operating partner, on and on and on and on and on. No, on and on. So again, because we are mom and pop and we don't have the presence of big franchises in our industry, it's pretty much a unicorn if you hear about a company, a martial arts school where people have 401ks, medical stipends, vacation with pay, yeah, yeah, but not competitive salary beyond what a personal trainer or a kindergarten teacher makes. So think about that. And when you're cultivating the structure of your company, I'm always looking for my second. You've heard that, right? You should always be looking for your second. That's the person you believe can replace you, that's the person you want to train to do it better than you. TJ and Lucas, they do a lot better than I do now. Naturally, because they're in the business more than I am. So that's good. But that only goes so far. If I don't keep up with the pay they need, now stay with me, the pay they need to support their personal lifestyle. They both own homes, right? They both have nice cars. They're both married. One has a baby that's a year and a half old. The other one's got a baby coming. If I don't provide them with the means to help support that, they by default have to leave and get another job. So I'm always researching. Well, what does the average, homeowner with a wife and kid need to make? Not what I want to pay them, what they need to make to live in the Bay Area. And that once I started making that shift, it changed everything. Because I know we can love on them all we want, buy them Starbucks and tell them how grateful we are, but for the lack of a better word, money talks, bullshit walks. Right? They have to be able to make the type of pay to not only live in your community, but to be able to support their personal dreams of owning a home, of having a family if that's their course, of having kids if that's their course. Not saying they all want to do that, but if that's their course, I want to be the person who supports them. Cost of living raise every year. There is no performance review, right? We don't sit there and say, in order to get this raise, you should have exhibited A, B, C, and D. We don't do that. Performance reviews are in the moment, a correction on the floor. Last night, in the only day teaching, um, the instructor I was working with went off to take attendance. And I looked at the class time and we were 1 minute into the class and it hadn't started. And then he yells out of the corner, "Can you start class, please?" I was livid. I was pissed. But, because a good class starts on time. And had he told me, I would have started the class because that's not normally something I do. Right. But afterwards, I gave him a hug and I apologized. I said, "Sir, I didn't mean to be short with you. Um, you know, I'm here to support you. Just please, we got to start classes on time." That's an example right there in the moment of performance review. Let's communicate on a higher level. And I think with today's millennial, today's, team member, you want to communicate course correction. You want to have these performance reviews in the moment, organically, all the time. I'm going to tell you why. Because with performance reviews, the last quarter of the year, everybody's on their best behavior. Everybody crosses their T's, everybody dots their I's. But do you believe your team is going to perform better knowing that out of logistics, that the dollar they made a year ago will not be worth the same dollar this year? It won't be. So an automatic, I believe we do 5% cost of living raise every year. Your salary goes up by 5%, right? My insurance goes up every year. My rent on my building goes up every year. Gas goes up every year, on and on and on, right? Look at food right now. So that little shift in our mindset was awesome because it was such a horrible conversation when someone comes up awkwardly, "Professor, can I talk to you?" "Yeah, yeah, what's going on?" "Well, I haven't had a raise in 2 years." That's a horrible, uncomfortable conversation that should never be had. Now it's not even a discussion. So we can focus on communicating at a higher level. We can focus on being closer as people. We can focus on running harder. Now, my next level, of course, is going to be profit sharing. I want to put profit sharing in place that beyond a certain dollar, these guys reap the benefit, right? And what does that require us to do? I figure out my personal expenses. I figure out there's nothing my family's going to go without. Nothing, nothing. And of course, the profit sharing gives them the incentive, right? That beyond my really great base salary you're paying me, that I can make these bonuses. But I think the problem with that, when I looked at that original model, was most companies, especially the fitness industry, they pay you this very small salary. And it's really now relying upon you making up for the lack of that salary with all the bonuses you get if you make your quota. if you make your numbers. Have a really good friend, and at the every month they disappear. At the end of every month for about a week, they are just freaking grinding, trying to make their numbers so they can get their bonus just to make their personal bills and mortgages and rent. I don't think that's good because anybody that believes in what you do, they don't need a carrot like that dangled in front of them, right? And that was the incentive. Well, they're a salesperson, so they got to hustle. They got to hustle. So everything becomes a numbers game. I got to close this person and go to the next one. I don't recommend doing that to your team. And a lot of people in our industry will do that. Here's your really low base salary, right? Because everyone borrows it from the fitness industry. Here's your really low base salary, 60,000 a year or whatever, and then everything else you work on is based on profit sharing. Okay? I would rather, at this point in our case, pay people really well and do a smaller percentage in profit sharing than to do a lower base salary and a higher percentage of profit sharing. You with me? Because they know confidently their mortgage doesn't change every month. Their personal grocery bills don't change every month. Their personal expenses don't change every month. I want them to know confidently that's covered. Now, because real hustle comes from doing the extra things because you believe doing those extra things are going to make you a better person, are going to help this be a better business. And in the interim, they're going to make more money. So it's a little different way of doing a bonus structure. It's one I advocate for because I see the fear when my friend has to hustle at the end of the month. That's not a fear that I think you build a great company on, right? I think it makes them feel isolated and alone and unsupported because it's all on them. So again, I'm going to drive that one home. Great base salary. And then our next level is going to be profit sharing. We don't have all the nuts and bolts worked out. I need to value the company first. And then I need to look at the players, right? Are they going to physically buy this company from me? Or if they can't afford to buy it from me or make payments or take a loan, then how much profit sharing is that? And is that profit sharing going to come back to me until they've bought into the school? So all of that's there. But the bottom line is no matter what it takes, no matter what it takes, I'm going to make it work out well with TJ and Lucas. I say it publicly. I say it all the time. I don't have all the moving parts yet, but that's my ultimate goal. That's my goal. Because at 62, right, I could teach until I'm 80, but I want to do other things. So they're the vehicle to allow me to do that. So everybody wins. And that's the big thing also. I think when we talk about, that team member that leaves, that opens up down the street and takes half the students, everybody loses, right? Everybody loses because it becomes war, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. Hey, Ralph from Switzerland. What's happening, sir? Lessons are finished. All right. And time for success never sleeps. You know, divide and conquer is a big philosophy in war, right? Divide and conquer. It does not help. If your team member leaves you, opens up down the street and takes half the students, they're in debt right away, right? They've got rent, they have all that marketing, they've got everything that goes with owning a business instantly. And they're a brand new business just starting out. Even worse, even worse. And you've been weakened because your top instructor has left and has taken part of the students. So that division is not healthy for either side. So I don't advocate for it at all, at all. So I'm always looking for ways to pay them better, keep up with their dreams, keep up with that. And I've been blessed, and I will. And again, I'll say it publicly. My whole purpose in 2025 is to work towards creating that succession plan, and it will involve profit sharing. Companies do it all the time. But again, because we don't come from the company mentality, we don't come from the franchise mentality, for the lack of the better word, we don't come from big business. We behave like a mom and pop operation. So we don't have systems. I can do most of it myself. I don't need you. You're lucky you get to work here. All that mentality does not help you create a business that will work for you, that will work for you, right? If it wasn't for TJ, I would have never opened up the second location because my discipline is that if you want to make this your life and this is what you want to do, then we need to open a second location. And we did. When TJ said this is going to be my life, I said I can't afford to pay you what you need to make, in this one location. This one location takes care of me and my family, our retirement, vacations, saving for college education, my mortgage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Took care of all of that. So I led by example, went into the second location, and I scaled that thing to $1 million in 3 years because I knew I was the best person for it. Plus, it's 5 minutes from my home. All of it was a perfect storm. And by that point, the kids were a little older because Braden's 15. So 5, he was going into kindergarten. Teo was 3, but it worked because it was so close to our home. You with me? You with me on that? So again, because we are a mom and pop business, there's some things logistically that will only work in your case. Only work in your case. And that comes right down to the loyalty factor. Somebody had made me an offer to buy my businesses. And I spoke to my wife and she said, absolutely not. I said, well, why, babe? Why you just boom? She says, well, because, we're loyal to TJ and this is going to be our path. I said, okay, okay, I get it. Business wise, if I sold it, I could have taken that money, invested it somewhere else, and made passive income literally without dealing with everything that goes with managing employees and the rest. But see, loyalty goes both ways. Loyalty cannot be an act of convenience, right? Or loyalty cannot be an act of opportunity. Loyalty is one of the core values of our company, is why we continue to thrive and do what we do after 24 years. Why? The longest running employee with me has been 15 years and longer. See, because it's very easy to take things and make them work in your own mind's eye, in your own strategy, and justify your behavior, right? That's why our core values that run a company where it's based upon principles, not personalities, is imperative. Imperative. So when the day's done, what does this all add up to? I don't believe that an instructor leaving you and opening up close to you and taking students is a good day. I don't believe them moving to another state and opening their own school is a good day. If I want to run fast, I run alone. If I want to run far, I run with a team. Write this down, tattoo it on your forehead. You cannot do this alone. You cannot. But if you got the key people, pay them good now. Don't wait till 200, 300, 400. And I'm not saying bleed out either. I'm saying be very mindful because if I got that rock star instructor, they're going to get me to 200 a lot faster if they're paid well now, and 300 and 400 and 500. Because realistically, to pay somebody top dollar, write this down, to pay them top dollar, 401k, medical stipend, vacation with pay, 300 is the number. 300 students. 300. Do the math. 300 students times, let's say $150. That's 45,000 a month, right? 45,000 a month times 12. What are we at, Marco? Times 12. What is that? Somebody help me really quick, right? 45,000 times 10 is 450. Add that 2 more times, we're at 900. We're at 540, right? 540, about there, right? Somewhere in there. So believe me, you look at a $500,000 business, 500,000. You're paying this guy 100K. You pay all your rent, your expenses, everything else. You know, that's that's a great business. And if I never have to be there, it's a good day. It's a good day. You with me? Yeah. So $40,000. I don't get that number, Jason. If I have if I'm at $45,000 a month, 300 students times 150 is $45,000. Times that by 12. What do you get? Because average, 150 is average, right? For most schools. But you do the math and you minus taxes, you minus your rent, you minus your expenses, the whole 9 yards. You are still putting back into your own personal pocket probably about $200,000, right? Right? That's paying this guy 100,000, and that's only 10% of your payroll, right? Think about that. For me, payroll, I want to be up around 30 to 35%. Personally, if I never have to work a day in my life, that's worth a lot of money to me, right? It's passive income. And that's the big thing I don't think we gather. We keep leaning into I'm the owner, I'm the owner, I'm the owner. but you don't work there at all. So all the revenue being generated is passive. It's passive. And when money's making you money and you're not working, that's a good day. Much like the stock market, much like maybe rental property, much like, whatever that might be. When you cultivate passive income, it's a good day. But we tend to look at our martial arts schools differently, much, much differently, right? Much differently. Man, nobody's helping me on that. Let me take care of that. So I've got $45,000 a month times 12. Yeah, 540. I knew the number, 540. And then if I backtrack, minus taxes, expenses, all the rest, you're still going to pocket anywhere from 2 to 250, depending where you live and what your rent and stuff is, right? Somebody told me they're charging 129 a month. I charge 259 a month. Well, my rent is higher, my payroll's higher, my expenses are higher, so it's relative. But I'm mindful of that number. Like we have a cost of living raise for all our team members. We have a cost of living tuition increase every year at about the same rate of 4%. See, but all these things business structure wise that I don't bat an eye when my, health insurance comes in every year and it's $20 more a month. eh, I don't bat an eye. The food we buy today is more today than it was a year ago. It's more than it was 20 years ago, the car you bought today, right? So that's part of it. Again, when you don't do that in your business and people don't get raises for years, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Cool? Cool, cool, cool. So we got a few more minutes. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. In the interim, what do we got coming up? We have It's Time Live Purpose, November 9th through 12th, right here in San Francisco, California. Actually, Millbrae, California, 5 minutes from SFO. It's starting to book up. Please don't hesitate. I'm challenged when somebody comes to me 2 weeks before the event and goes, can I get a ticket now? Success is something you plan for, right? And the 4-day experience is a major investment, but it's one that will change your life. This is the number one martial arts growth event. You will, Dave Kovar, myself, Sam, Adam Lodi, what we're doing with King Creative in cultivating new and innovative ways of marketing your business through social media is powerful, powerful. So to spend 4 days with us is life changing. As we say, it's a personal transformation. You need to be here. And if you do it in November, 2025 is going to rock. It is going to freaking rock. So the link is there. Get signed up now. Don't wait because those 20 spots tend to go very fast. Cool. And our mentoring program, of course, we're loving the clients that we are working with. It's a small group. It's ground floor. We're in that infancy stage. If you want to have us in your back pocket, helping in every aspect of your business, from your pro shop to curriculum design, to rotating curriculum, to staff development, to community-based marketing, every aspect, budgeting that it takes to run a successful small business, in particular martial arts school, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it because you have a team that cares about you and your success that will give you real advice that we apply in our schools every day to do what we do. Cool. All right. Any questions? Are they in the comment? Can't wait to see. Oh, that's Jason. Yep. We can't wait to see everybody there. Jason Smith will be there. Let me thank my sponsors, Tusaw, Market Muscles, my studio, Kids Love Life Skills, and LC Accounting, right? People, I use all of their services. They actively have helped in me scaling and growing my businesses. I believe in these people as people, and what they're doing with their products is innovative, it's proven, and it works for us every day. Every day. So I know today's episode was a little sobering, but it hit me while I was at this dance convention, right? Speaking with Steven Reinstein, and I helped in the booth selling websites to these dance studio owners. And I reflected on my whole summer, right? Because my family flew to Vegas as well. I've been to Anaheim. I've been to Vegas twice. I've been to Hawaii this summer, right? I've only taught 4 or 5 times for the past 3 months. That would not be possible without my team. And I don't say that in a debilitating, they've got me over a barrel, right? It's not like some union movie where all the auto workers go on strike and cripple this business. No, I say that with a very humble, loving, grateful way. And I will do anything for my team, anything and everything, because the freedom I experience today, can only logistically happen with this high performing team. And if they're getting the numbers and the results that you want, even more so, even more so, even more so. What is the price of loyalty? But what is the price of somebody leaving you, opening up down the street, taking X number of students? What is the price of that? And not saying this in a fear-based way. I'm just saying this in a very straight up business. What is the price? And honestly, if it costs me a little more money to pay my people better because they deserve it, so be it. If paying them a little more money affords them a home and to support their family, so be it. So be it. I love being integral in making that happen. I do. And so should you. Cool? All right. We don't have any questions, but watch this one again and again. I think even if nobody's leaving you today, that you take some talking points from this and look at your business as a whole and you implement it in it. Like I said, just a simple from day one, showing them a clear path to being a partner in your business, whether it exists or not, is vital. If I can see clear path of advancement, 401k, medical, vacation, all those things, then I believe this could be a company I want to work for. And if you love them like a brother or sister on top of it, and they've grown up as students in your school, now they're instructors and they work shoulder to shoulder with you, even more the reason I want to support that. You with me? I'm Brannon Beliso. This has been Success Never Sleeps. Until we talk again, what are you going to do? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to our podcast on all the major podcast platforms. Follow me at Instagram. For everything else, go to brannonbeliso.com. Until we talk again, you go out there, live your best life.